I didn't mean to disappear. Not at first anyway. Started with a day, then 2. Then I told myself he'd understand if I just needed a little space. 5 years is a long time to be with someone. Long enough to fall in love, fall out of it, and not even realize you're lost somewhere in between. But I never expected that 1 month of silence would be the end. And I never thought he'd mean it when he said he's never coming back. I wish I had a neat explanation, something simple I could point to and say, "That's why I pulled away." But the truth is messier than that. It was burnout. It was anxiety. It was me not knowing who I was outside of us. Some days I'd wake up feeling like a stranger in my own skin, craving quiet, resenting noise, even if it came from the person I loved. So I stopped replying. 1 unread message became 5, then 10. I'd open his texts, stare at them, then lock my phone and tell myself I'd reply tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. I told myself it wasn't ghosting. We'd been together for 5 years. He knew me. He'd get it. But deep down I think I was testing something. Testing whether love could survive distance. Whether someone could still wait for you when you didn't show up. The first week he messaged every day. "Hey, are you okay, babe? I'm getting worried." Then came the voice notes. His voice soft, concerned, never angry. He didn't deserve my silence, but I wasn't strong enough to face him either. I didn't know how to say, "I'm tired and I don't even know why." So I said nothing. By week 2 the messages slowed. He asked once, "Did I do something?" That one shattered me because no, he didn't. He was everything I'd ever asked for. Kind, loyal, steady, the kind of man who showed up without making a big deal of it. But maybe that was the problem. He was consistent and I wasn't. I started to fear that I had outgrown the version of myself that fell in love with him. Or maybe I was just scared of how much he loved me and how little I knew about loving myself. By the 3rd week, silence sat heavy between us. I'd scroll through old pictures. Our anniversary dinner, the beach trip where he carried my sandals through the sand, the video he took of me laughing, unfiltered and free. Felt like watching someone else's life. I kept telling myself I'd reach out, write a long message, explain everything. But the longer I waited, the harder it became to find the words. The guilt grew roots. And by the time I hit the 1-month mark, I knew I had done damage I couldn't undo. So I finally texted him. "Hey, I know it's been a while. Sorry. Can we talk?" The reply came 6 minutes later. "You ghosted me for a month after 5 years." That was the talk. That was the breakup. Froze. I reread that message a dozen times. My chest tight, my throat dry. I wanted to call. I wanted to beg, but something about the finality in his tone told me not to. I wasn't ready for how hurt he was. And I deserve that. Because when you love someone, you don't disappear without a word. You don't let silence do your talking. Later that night he sent one last message. "I waited longer than I should have, but your silence said more than any words ever could. Get it now. You let go before I did, so I'm letting go too." Cried that night. Not the quiet, graceful tears they show in movies. The kind that gut you. The kind where you hold your chest and rock back and forth because it physically hurts. Because I realized what I had lost and worse, how I had lost it. It wasn't a fight. It wasn't cheating. It wasn't betrayal. It was me not showing up. Me closing the door and pretending he'd wait outside forever. I've replayed our last real conversation over and over. He had asked me if I was happy. I lied and said yes. But he knew. He always knew. And maybe that's why he didn't fight harder in the end. Maybe he'd been holding on to a version of me that had already started to slip away. Now when I think of him, it's not with anger or blame. It's with regret because he was the kind of man who deserved better. He deserved a partner who would show up even when it was hard, who wouldn't retreat into silence and expect him to keep knocking. People talk a lot about closure, about needing a conversation, a moment, a last goodbye. But sometimes closure is a text you never expected. Sometimes it's knowing that you were the one who let go first, even if you didn't mean to. I still check his profile. Sometimes he's smiling in his new photos. He looks lighter. Maybe someone else is giving him the kind of love I couldn't. The kind that stays, that speaks, that chooses him daily. And I don't blame him for not looking back. I ghosted him, thinking I'd come back when I was ready, but I forgot. Sometimes the people we leave behind learn how to stop waiting. And when they do, they don't open the door again.